Hey everyone, it's Natalie. So I know I haven't been on in over a month, but the school year ended. I moved to Wisconsin from Texas. Then I broke 3 of my toes, which is not fun. I'm dealing with a boot right now. And things have just been rocking and rolling in my life and a lot of exciting things. So I just haven't had time to do a video. I know I've been getting a lot of emails asking where I've been. So everything's good over here. Just busy life, busy summer, and the move was a big deal. Anyway, I hope everyone's doing okay. And I did respond to everyone's emails and texts, so please check your messages. But anyways, today I'm going to just come on here and say, if you're dealing with a toxic in-law, specifically a mother-in-law who is out to get you, you've got to start treating that person like a child. You cannot correspond with this person like they're an adult. When they're going and doing belittling things or threatening things or whatever it is, if you start approaching the situation like, you're a child, I don't care what you have to say, I don't care what you do, you live your life the way you want, I'm going to live my life the way I want, I don't care if you judge me, I don't care if you smear me, I'm going to just keep to myself, live the best life I can, and I'm going to exclude you out of my family, out of my life. And I know a lot of you say like, oh, well, my husband or wife, whoever it happens to be, won't cut contact with their parent. That's fine. Just because they're in contact with their parent doesn't mean you have to be. It also means that your children don't have to be. And if you choose for your children to be in contact with the toxic in-law, then you put strict boundaries and you make sure that there's rules and you regulate those rules. And if any of those rules are broken, then you set that toxic in-law aside and give them a timeout like you would a child. When you're dealing with a spouse that is constantly going and telling their parents your whole life, everything about you, everything that's going on with your children, everything that's going on in your family, then you have a lot bigger problem than just an in-law problem. You also have a marriage problem. And when you're dealing with somebody that is not respecting you and respecting the fact that you don't want your life shared with their parents, you need to seek counseling right away. See, as a life coach, I can tell you that I can guide you, but I can't counsel you. And so you need to find a professional who's going to sit down, be neutral in the conversation, neutral in your relationship, and try to show your partner the things that they're doing that is crossing boundaries with you and also hurting you both emotionally and psychologically. A lot of times when you're dealing with a spouse that just cannot keep their mouth shut, unfortunately, your marriage is on a rocky road. And it is not so much a season in your marriage, it is so much about that person who's not respecting you. And what I found through, life coaching a lot of women and men is that when you, and this is really crummy, but when you stop sharing things with your partner, then they have nothing to share with a narcissist. And if you're living in a marriage where you can't share your life with your partner because you're too scared that they're going to go tell the narcissist, then that's not much of a marriage. And there's things that are broken in your marriage that need to be fixed. And there's some hard questions you have to ask yourself. You need to have a conversation with your partner and explain to them that you will not share your life with them if they continue to share your life with the narcissist. If they choose to have a relationship with the narcissist, that you want to be excluded from that relationship, that you no longer want to be involved or conversated about when your spouse goes around this toxic person. And you would explain to them that the toxicity is ruining your marriage, It is causing you distress mentally and psychologically and emotionally, and that this is not the marriage that you signed up for. That when you signed up to be married to this person, that you agreed to be, you signed a contract to be in a relationship with one person. And had you known that that was not going to happen, I mean, literally, you have to say, I probably would have second guessed signing a contract with somebody who I thought respected me, who I trusted, who I respected, and thought that I could share my life with. And that you feel as though when you share your life with your partner, that they are taking that bond, that special moment of each other sharing each other's life with one another, and ruining that moment by them going and telling the toxic in-law everything that you discussed. As two grown people, you as your spouse should not feel the need or the urge to go and tell the toxic in-law, because that is something that is within your relationship, and your relationship has nothing to do with the relationship they have with their parent, and you have to explain that to them. And if they continue to do it, I suggest counseling. You need it ASAP, because I think a lot of the times when you bring up the things that they're doing that to you is crossing a boundary after you've asked them not to do it, then having somebody who can sit your partner down, who is not biased towards you or them, and explain that there are things within people's relationships that do not need to be shared outside of that relationship, even if that means it is celebrations or good times or bad times or whatever it is, that what is happening in that nuclear unit should stay within those walls. And that the counselor could explain to your spouse that their parent relationship has nothing to do with the relationship or your marriage with you. And trust me, they will explain that, because there's no reason for your partner to go and overshare. Even if it's good things, right? And your partner's excited, if you specifically ask your partner not to do so, they should respect that, whatever agreement that you've made, that boundary that you set with them. And even after bringing up the fact that your partner's oversharing or saying too much to their parent about your life, about your marriage, about whatever's going on, and they see no problem in it, or they continue to do so, this is the problem. Our spouses are so brainwashed. It's so hard for them to cut the cord with their parent. They're so used to oversharing, telling their parent everything, that when you ask them not to do so, they look at you like you're the hostile one, like what's wrong with you? When in reality, the very fact that they have the need to tell their parent every single little detail about y'all's life is toxic. Because our partners have been brainwashed by their parents to believe that they are part of the narcissist, right? So it's called enmeshment. And when you have an enmeshed partner, it is extremely hard to break that enmeshment, and it is extremely hard to actually get them to see your point of view, of this unhealthy relationship with their parent. But because it's all our partner knows, and the parent has normalized this type of behavior, they don't see anything wrong with it. And matter of fact, when you go and say something about, hey, please don't share this, they look at it like you are the one with the problem. But if your partner tries to make you feel like, well, look how you're acting, you don't let me share anything, you don't let me, whatever it is, you have to understand that you're going to have to be very basic in explaining to your partner that the unity you have created within your relationship is sacred. And it doesn't matter if it's good or bad times, that there are things that you specifically ask them not to tell, not to say, not to discuss, because you are grown-ups. You have a grown-up relationship. And because our partner has been brainwashed by their parent, they have either been parentified or, there's actually a lot of things that could have been going on with that, but they have been conditioned into believing that anything that happens in their life, the parent must know. But when you become over 18, you start your own family, you start your own relationships, you have your own marriage. That childish behavior is supposed to end, but it's so hard for our partners to understand that because they have been doing it so long, and it can be very frustrating for you as a spouse that your partner is not respecting what you have asked them not to do. So I suggest counseling, and if your partner doesn't stop doing it, it won't get better in your marriage. It can get a lot worse, and things can turn really nasty. I also feel like when you're dealing with like a forgotten child or a scapegoat, and especially a golden, because they've been looking for that acceptance for so long by their parent, that when something good or bad happens, they run to their parent to share, thinking that maybe they'll get a good old pat on the back, or they will get the acceptance they're looking for. And that's the thing. If it's good, they want to share, even though the narcissist doesn't like knowing good things that happen in your relationship. And they think that their parent will be excited for them. But what they don't know, it's the bad stuff the narcissist is probing for. So they tend to get their child to believe that they really care about them in that relationship, or even you and your children. But the truth is, they are playing their child. And so because they know that to get the bad, they have to listen to the good. And so they listen to the good and they don't care, only so their child can bring the bad. And once that bad information, anything that bad's going on in your life, is brought to the narcissist, they use it as a weapon. They use it to control the whole situation as an entirety. Control their child, control your marriage, control the grandchildren, whatever it is. Even though our partners believe by going to their parent, they can get wise counsel from their parent, what they don't understand is that it is all a manipulation tactic to gather information about you and your marriage, to persuade their child that you are not good enough for them, to persuade their child that your marriage is unstable, to persuade their child that you have mental problems. And this is why it's so very important that your spouse respects your wishes when you ask them not to share your life with the narcissist. And going back to, your spouse having contact with the narcissist and you not, it's going to take time to adjust to that. Because this is the thing. You can't force your partner not to have a relationship with somebody that raised them since birth. If you do that, your partner will start looking at you differently, start treating you differently. And so you have to allow them to make those type of decisions. Now, you as an individual have all the right in the world to choose who comes and goes, and who stays in your life. And so if you tell your partner, no, you can't have a relationship with your parent, you can't talk to them, this and that, your marriage will not last very long, and your partner will will start backing away from you. I mean, it's the same thing when you're constantly bringing up every single little thing that their parent does, even when it's little things that aren't even real. I mean, yeah, it hurts you. Maybe it gets on your nerves. Maybe they cross a little boundary, but you like those little things. I understand they can add up. That's not what I'm saying. But these little things, if you are constantly always bashing their parent, your partner will start looking at you like the problem. And so the goal of all this is to have your partner wake up to the truth on their own, because the only way that they're really truly going to see what is going on is if you step out of the way and you allow them to experience what the narcissist is doing without you bashing the narcissist. Because when you are constantly bashing the narcissist, it does make you look like you're the problem. But if you stay silent and you only address the things that were like big boundary crossers, but you do it in a mature fashion, and you step out of the way and you let the narcissist pick you apart and say nasty things about you to their child, and you just let the narcissist destroy their own character, then your partner will slowly start to open their eyes. They will slowly start to see, well, if this was your spouse, well, my partner isn't saying these bad things about my parents. My partner isn't picking my parents apart. My partner is being supportive of me in that relationship. My partner is there for me. She doesn't, she's not constantly ridiculing me or ridiculing my parents. But I experienced that from my parents. So if you're the spouse, right, they will slowly start to see that you aren't the problem. But if you're constantly bashing their parent, it becomes very confusing for your partner to see the true reality of what is going on. So you have to let the narcissist expose themselves for who they are on their own. Because no matter how much you want to shout from the rooftop that this person is like this, your partner will not believe it unless they experience it. I mean, I know that's hard to believe, and you might think, well, Natalie, he has to know every little thing. But the truth is, if you're constantly in the way, trying to expose the narcissist, then you're not letting the narcissist truly expose themselves. You're going to be playing reverse psychology games on everyone involved. And that is the way to help your partner, open their eyes and start gaining confidence in what you're telling them. Because you have to remember that the narcissist has been in their life a lot longer than you have. And so they have more tendencies to trust the narcissist than they do you, unfortunately. And unfortunately, in this situation, it can take some time for your partner to actually see what's going on in this relationship between you and their parent. So you have to be patient. And it can be really upsetting to be patient, because you might have to sit through several smear campaigns. You might have to sit through, just belittlement and things like that, right? I mean, if they're doing this to your face, definitely you need to speak up. But you got to do it in a way that is not hostile. You have to do it in a way where you are acting as a parent and they are acting as a child. Okay, so you would literally talk to them like you would a child. So if the child crosses a boundary, they do something you don't like, you're going to ask them, hey, that's inappropriate. That's not what we do. We don't talk like that. You're just basically going to come up with things like, I don't appreciate you saying that, and it's very hurtful. And I just want to let you know that if you keep saying things like this, basically you're going to put them in timeout, that we will no longer come and see you. We will no longer be in your life. And you put them in a timeout, and that timeout can look like this. So they cross the boundary. You address it maturely. And then what happens after that is, if the narcissist texts, calls, stops by, you do not respond to any of those. You don't respond to the text. You don't respond. You ignore the call and you ignore the knock or the doorbell. Okay, you're completely putting them in a timeout and you're saying, I am not speaking to you for this, this period of time. And then after that timeout is ended and you have punished the narcissist, if you decide to go back in contact with them, you are going to have even stricter boundaries. You're going to be more, you're going to be more aware what the narcissist says and does around you. And if you need to put them in another timeout, then that's what you do. If that means that you're gray rock or you're going no contact or whatever it is, then that's what you have to do, because a narcissist will never respect your boundaries. So even if you do put these strict boundaries, they're still going to cross them. But the narcissist has to be taught a lesson that, no, you're not going to cross these boundaries. If you do, I'm punishing you. And that's the way that you approach it. Because if you think about this, how many times has the narcissist punished you? The silent treatment, the ignoring, everything that they do. How many times? 1,000,000 times. So they punish you, so you're going to punish them. That's how you respond to a narcissist. You don't get upset. You don't throw a fit. You don't call names. You don't get physically aggressive or anything. You are removing yourself from that situation, and you are approaching that situation with a new view. A view of, I'm the parent, you're the child, this is the way it's going to be. You don't like it, too bad. And that's really how you have to start approaching it. And it's going to be scary, and you're going to mess up, and you're going to mouth off at the narcissist when they do something that you don't like. And, it takes practice, but you'll get there, and eventually you will turn into a stone cold boundary setter. And that's the goal. And no matter what the narcissist says, no matter they smear you, whatever, no matter if other family members are coming telling you stuff, or if the flying monkeys are gaslighting you, or whatever it is, you just don't respond to anybody in that situation, especially the flying monkeys. You owe nobody an explanation of how you feel or what you're doing when it pertains to the narcissist. This is your business. And because the narcissist, when you start putting them in timeout, will start sending people towards you, calling you, coming over, texting, whatever it is, to figure out why, they know why you're upset, but why you're upset, even though they've already smeared you and made it seem like you're the perpetrator of this situation that has, blossomed. But they will start sending people to persuade you into getting back into contact with them, because you're their best supply. You're one of their supplies. And they also are egotistical, where they're like, how dare you ignore me? So they will start bringing people by your house or calling you to convince you that they are good people, that they didn't mean any harm, that you took it the wrong way, or they misspoke, or whatever. It's a million excuses. But no, when someone comes and does that, flying monkey comes, you simply just say, wow, that's really too bad she feels that way. Or, I'm sorry she feels that way, but I feel differently, and at this time, I just need space. And you can literally tell the narcissist that too. But anyways, it's already 23 minutes long. I just wanted to jump on here and kind of just, blabber a little bit about things that could help you, maintain some sanity. Peace, love, and harmony. I'll see y'all later. Bye.